So how long have you been gambling, like, playing poker?
Yeah, I've been playing poker since I was 18 pretty much because it's legal in Texas card rooms at 18 years old. So I came in my freshman year of college and was just pretty interested about it and had no money at the time and just started playing like cash games, the smallest stakes possible in Dallas.
So making sure I understand, you didn't even do any like free online stuff like for fun like before?
Yeah,
then?
me and my brother would play like just for fun at our house. I have a brother that's 2 years younger than me and we would play, but then I deposited like $50 in an online account when I was 18 for the first time and really just grew an interest for it and started playing more there.
So what do you play typically? This event was Texas Hold'em, is that right?
Yeah, this was Texas Hold'em and that's pretty much all I play is
Gotcha.
yeah, Texas Hold'em.
So when you're playing around, do you play with friends in the team? You're going to like rooms to play? Like how are you playing?
Yeah, I'm going to Texas Card House and other public card rooms in the Dallas area.
So you're playing like biggest stakes game that you've played in prior to this was what?
Yeah, I had played in like at Texas Card House. They have like a 5, 10, 25 game where buy-in ranges from like 2,500 to 6,000, and so like I was playing that game somewhat regularly before this.
$2,500 buy. So when did you get the courage to like start doing games like that?
Yeah, so basically poker for me has been just something I've been very scientific about. So I started out with the $50 online, ended up realizing I had a real interest for it, but I didn't have the money I needed to play. And so I got a job as a lifeguard coming into my sophomore year with the hopes of making some amount of money that would allow me to play poker more seriously. And so I got a job as a lifeguard, I saved up some money, and then coming into my sophomore year, put in some more money online, started playing online more seriously, and then started playing $200 buy-in at Texas Card House with whatever role I was comfortable with playing. And then from there, things just continually got better and better, and I was able to move up and up stakes, and to the point where, yeah, like just prior to the Choctaw main event win, I was able to consistently be playing like 2,500 to 6K, like 5, 10, 25 at Texas Card House.
Did you tell your family about that? Like, how did they feel about this activity?
Yeah, my parents were actually super supportive, which has meant the world to me. Yeah. They know that I've been super calculated about every step of this, and I haven't taken things out of control like it is very easy to in the gambling world. So I've been very scientific and calculated about it, and they've been super supportive, which has been sweet.
So roughly time period. So how long have you been doing the $2,500 buy-in? For about a year, less than that?
Probably 6 months before this. I had just moved up stakes, yeah.
And you did those, what, every week, every month?
Whenever I could. So between soccer, school, and other things, I was not able to play as much as I wanted to, but whenever I had time, I would play, yeah.
Did you win every time, or what was your record like?
No, I was making money in the game, but poker's one of those things where even good players are gonna win money and lose money, and so you're just hoping that your graph looks something like that.
What made you think, all right, let me tackle this?
I've just always loved poker. I've always been a competitor at heart, and so I've just had the desire to continue moving up stakes as the previous stake like I was successful at, and so found myself eventually buying into the Choctaw 1,700.
So it was $1,700 to buy in?
Was the tournament I won, yeah, it was the
So
buy-in.
that's less than you're doing on like a regular basis then?
Yeah, but tournaments are different where like the tournament, if it's a higher buy-in, it's more like, it's more of a risky investment because you're either going to like bust, like get $0 or like you'll have a min cash, or sometimes you'll win the whole thing. But whereas cash games, like even if I'm buying in for 3K, like I can have a day where I'm just losing 200. I can have a day where I'm winning 300. Like, or you can have.
So your win-loss is muted a little bit, as opposed to like all in, all out. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Tournaments are just more high variances. Cash games are a little bit less variance.
Did you do anything like prepping for that, other than like, I guess you just play, right?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time like working on my game and studying, and then just playing and getting more comfortable with the game.
What does it look like? I mean, like I play poker not super well, although I did win a charity poker thing. I was very proud of that, not to your degree. But like, what do you like, I think people generally understand, I say general people, some people don't understand the rules of poker. We're not going to try to explain the game to them tonight, but the point being is like, when you say work on it how? Like, are you somebody, and somebody asked me this actually when I was pitching the story, they're like, is he one of those guys that tries to figure out, all right, I have a 3% chance of this on the flop or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Or are you like more of a, I'm just gonna try to play the person across from me type person?
Yeah, I would say there's so many tools now that the game is it's so much down to a science now. Like the more and more like newer generations and the more technology that comes out with it, like
explain that.
There's things called like there's an idea called like game theory optimal, and so there's solvers for poker. And so like when you're outside of the table, like a helpful tool is to like get in the solvers and run some sims, is what poker players would call them. And like as you get more comfortable with like what game theory optimal play looks like, you gradually like get better and are able to implement that. So like learning,
it's like watching game film.
Learning like how to play good poker on top of like talking to people who I think are better than me at poker, and thinking about like what deviations I can make and what kind of plays I can make. Like those two things really helped excel my game really fast.
So there's like 1,000 people in this tournament.
Yep.
You go up there, and this was when?
This was 2 weeks ago.
So it started on like a Friday, or?
I played Friday. There was 3-day ones. I played Friday, yeah.
So let me make sure I understand this, by the way. Did you like say, all right, between the end of this like summer school and the beginning of practice, I'm gonna try to sneak this in?
Actually, yes. So I had to miss my teammates right over there. I had to miss a training for coming back to day 3. And so like I was fitting this Choctaw thing, and I wanted to play it, and it was the very end of summer school, so I missed the last training after making day 3, where we were started with 1,000 and worked our way down to 12 people.
Gotcha. So wait, so day 1 it didn't start with 1,000?
So there were 3-day ones on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, about
okay,
350, 400 people each. It accumulated in 1,000 people, and then each, like 10% of the field came back on Sunday, and then on Sunday we started with 120 people from the 1,000, and then we narrowed it down to 12 people who came back for day 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So at what point during the tournament were you starting to think like, this is realistic for me?
Man, I really managed expectations. I really did not think that I would see Harvey Castro 275, 660 in this weekend. I saw that the payouts were big, and I knew it was the biggest spot of my poker career so far, coming back to a day 3 with 12 left. But I didn't expect to win really at any point until we were down to maybe the final 3. I was like, okay, I could do this thing.
Not even the final 12? You didn't think like, hey, this is possible? Like if you're at the final table of an event of that size,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna believe you that you didn't think it was in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I really I took it hand by hand, and I didn't like, I was aware of the stakes that were at play, but poker is something that I really you can only control one decision at a time, so that's all I tried to do.
Was there one hand in particular or one win where you're like, all right, this changed me? In other words, like I moved up in terms of my chip pile or whatever it was?
There was a meaningful pot where I went all in with ace king, and someone called with ace queen suited, and I held all in pre-flop, and I won, and that put us down to 3 players where I had the chip lead, and I was like, okay, I'm in a really good spot. My chips are worth a lot of money right now.
Has it like sunk into you that like you won like almost 300 grand?
Not really. I mean, I'm at soccer practice. I'm just trying to graduate in December, and then we look at like what my poker career looks like after that. Yeah.
Is that? I mean, you're like I say, you're majoring in finance. Are you like, maybe I just go into poker if it's gonna give me like this luck?
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing about it was, like prior to the tournament, I had pretty much decided that after I graduated in December that I wanted to pursue poker for a full year after that, just because of how well the cash games and other tournaments were going. And then like to say that and then get this kind of reassurance that this was a good idea was like a great start to my career. And yeah, I walked up with my ticket that said 275, 660, and they were like, okay, we can either give you cash or we can give you a check. And I was like, give me a check. Like I don't want to be carrying around this cash. I'm driving back to Dallas that night, so yeah, they gave me a check and I cashed the check.
You cashed it, deposited the check?
I deposited the check.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. What did your bank think when you deposited the check? Did anybody say anything?
they were just like, congratulations. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised how quickly it went through. But
who was the first person you told, or were they able to stream it or watch it?
No, you mean out of my friends or?
Just anybody. I mean, the first person who knew you won was who?
Yeah, my brother and some friends were actually there, like watching the tournament with me for the final table, and so they were keeping everybody, my parents and my girlfriend, involved. So everyone's making jokes like, "Oh, you got the bill this time," like, but no one's been out of line about it yet.
Have you are you a scholarship athlete?
Yeah, I have a partial scholarship, yeah.
Because we were saying, like, I joked at the thing, I said he won $275,000, which is roughly 3 years of SMU tuition.
Right,
you know,
it's
like,
ridiculous.
yeah, so I mean, that's fortunate then that worked out. And I looked at your Instagram, obviously, so did the engagement happen before or after?
Actually, yeah, I had the date of the engagement planned 3 weeks before, and so I was like getting it all set and planned this tournament, and joked with my friends, like, man, 2 rings for the price of 1 this week, like, let's go, not thinking that I could actually win a WSOP ring, and then, yeah, win the ring and still have that Friday picked out, and so I proposed to my girlfriend, my now fiance, a couple days after.
Had the ring already been paid for at that point?
The ring had been paid for, yeah. She wasn't getting an upgrade yet, but no, yeah, everything was, no, she was supportive of me way before the 275. So.
Have you bought anything yet? I mean, you said obviously you paid for the ring already, but is there anything that you're like, this is my first purchase?
I haven't bought anything yet. I'm really just hopeful that I get to help pay for a wedding. That's the dream. So nothing too flashy right now. I just want a wedding.
So there's the obvious one, actually, I would say, the elephant in the room. So you played the whole time with the Christ Alone hoodie.
Yeah.
And so that was the other thing that we were talking about in our meeting is people might ask, like, you know, you're wearing the Christ Alone hoodie, but do you see any sort of conflict between Grambling and the religion part of it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think my heart posture is the most important thing about it. If I can play what I feel like is a sport in a responsible manner that respects other people and try to honor the Lord through it, I think there's space for it.
Do you have any other big tournaments planned, like next?
I'm gonna be playing soccer every day for the next 5 months, and then after that, graduation, and then I'm looking at playing a big tournament in Vegas in December.
Does winning this automatically qualify you for something, or can anybody play in the World Series of Poker in Vegas?
Anyone can play in the World Series of Poker in Vegas. Yeah, anyone that wants to buy in can play in any tournament. There's one tournament called the Tournament of Champions that is only available to ring winners, so I do have an invitation to that, but outside of that, there's hundreds of tournaments.
You got the ring with you by any chance?
No, I don't.
Okay,
it comes in a couple weeks.
Oh, so they're shipping it to you?
Yeah,
okay,
they're going to put my name on it.
Well, they got to get it fitted, I guess, too. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's awesome. What did your coach say when you said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to be missing practice. I got a poker tournament to play in?
Fortunately, it was a captain's-led practice, so the coaches, it's technically optional summer trainings. I wouldn't really miss a practice with the coaches for a poker tournament. That wouldn't go down too well.
And can you imagine if you had missed this, though, and then, like, I mean, you would have never known, but, like, the idea, like, you missed this for a practice,
it
and,
would
like,
have been pretty
you could have won.
ridiculous.
How much, I mean, we also were debating this, how much of poker do you say is luck versus skill?
Yeah, in the long run, it's 100% skill. If we play for tens of thousands of hands, the better player is going to win money every time. Over the short run, if we play for 4 hours and get 300 hands in, I'm going to win more often, but you're going to win sometimes. And so that's like the best way to think about it.
Do you have any poker tips? Anything that like the average Joe, like Kyle and myself, should know about playing poker? What is like a common, you don't have to tell everything, but like a common mistake you see people make?
It's such a tough question to answer. I would say get in there and play poker and learn and be curious to what better players are doing, and then just go from there.
When you say doing, you mean like when they're raising, like when they're calling, when they're staying, like that sort of thing?
What sorts of hands, what sorts of hand classes are they doing certain things with? Are they being passive with? Are they being aggressive with these certain types of hand categories? I consider it a game of skill, but it's certainly still gambling because there are aspects where you're unsure about how the outcome is going to go, but it's just a totally different type of thing than blackjack or roulette. Like, it's totally different.
I forgot about one of the obvious ones. So I want to make sure, and I was going to Google this, you may already know. You wouldn't have been allowed to play in this prior to NIL, right?
I would have been allowed to,
okay.
yeah. I can't sports bet and do other things, but I can like play poker.
Well, yeah, you still can't.
I still can't. Yes, sorry.
You can't,
yes.
gamble on SMU
yes.
like winning, but you can still play poker, and you would have been able to before as well.
Yes, okay. Yeah. NIL, I think, only opens up the door for me to like sign
sponsorships.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
What's the most you had won in a single? I know you said you did those big hands, but that can be, because it's not a full tournament. You're not, tripling your money or whatever.
No.
What's the most you've won in one of those games?
I won $19,000 from a tournament earlier this year, and then prior to that, I had like multiple 12K wins in cash game sessions.
So like net, you think you're probably pushing $500,000 probably total?
I'm not gonna comment on the amount of money I've made total, but it's more than 275. I mean, I've just been obsessed with it since I was 18 years old. Obsessed with getting better at each like.
How many hours a week
point.
do you think you play poker?
I think about poker a lot every week. I don't know how much I play, but I'm constantly thinking about.
I'm sure it depends on the season, but like average week, yeah.
Yeah, I try to play like 18 hours of poker a week, like no matter what. But in the height of season, I'm not able to play even 18. Yeah.